Hey guys, so I've seen your comments. Apparently, you guys like it better when my videos feel more like a class. So, we're going PowerPoint today, and I'm hoping to keep this one consistent. I know I've been toggling a bit. Well, I'm chatting a lot, but anyways, today we're going to go through the 2022 Module 2 Communication Studies essay. So, of course, first things first, I'll be showing you some pointers, right? Some other information that I got from reading through the extract. Secondly, giving you essay construction tips, so how to structure it. And third, of course, a sample essay that you yourself can use as a template for writing your own. Okay? So this year's module 2 question wanted you to comment on the use of any two language registers used by characters, discuss one verbal and one non-verbal behavior by which the characters in the extract convey social tension, and they wanted you to comment on the use of one feature of Caribbean Creole English, which is evident in the conversation between DSP Richards and the princess. So the extract is mainly about a group of protesters basically showing their how displeased they are with how the police had treated one of their own, right? But the police are here to defend themselves and not so. So if you haven't read the extract, paper is linked in the description below, and of course it's somewhere here on the screen. Not somewhere, I can see it, so you can see it as well. But yeah, I won't be reading through the extract, but I'll definitely be just giving you some real points from it. So the first thing we're going to talk about are the language registers used. Predominantly there is the formal register and informal register, and sometimes when students see language registers and we start talking about formality versus informal, students often take a formal for being related or being equivalent to standard English. So because somebody is using standard English, then they're using the formal register. And if they're going for the term informal, they'll then equate that to Creole, which is not true. That is not true. So when we talk about so I'm trying to keep editing to a minimum, but boy, my throat ain't cooperating. So when we talk about informal register versus formal register, or registers in general, we're talking about the degree of formality that someone uses when they speak, right? So while using Creole may be a sign of informality, I can be informal while still using standard English. It's just that you want to think about how relaxed the conversation is, or how relaxed the form of communication is, compared to what you'd find in something or a context or environment that is more rigid and requires you to be a bit hoity. Sorry for the lack of better words, right? So whenever you're looking for informality versus formality, you want to say if someone is being overly formal with their register, they use complete sentences, they avoid the use of contractions, they avoid the use of slang, they perhaps sometimes they'll use the passive voice instead of the active voice. So if the speech is more using active voice, then that's more leaning towards the informal register. Now, we can see in the extract where DSP Richards, that's the policeman, he uses more of the formal register because he uses standard English for most of his speech. He also opts to complete his sentences if Princess would allow him, and he doesn't use contractions in his speech. However, for Princess and the protesters, I would say they went more for an informal register, because you see where they are screaming police brutality, murder, murder, murder. stuff like that. And also Princess, I think, yeah, she did use an idiom somewhere within the extract where she said that they were treating her friend like dog meat. Is it dog meat? Oh, that don't sound right. Van like meat, not dog meat. Here we go. Stop them from throwing him into the van like meat, not dog meat. Wow. Okay. Princess also uses contractions throughout her speech, so that would be another um instance of informality. Now, in terms of the verbal communicative behaviors that would communicate tension, there were a lot of accusations, right? Because the princess repeatedly, and not only princess, the protesters as well continuously accused the police of misconduct. Let's put it that way, because here she says, "I shoot the police, shoot it up themselves," right? I shoot the police, shoot it up themselves. Nothing no go so, right? This is accusing the police of lying, right? Also, there were areas of contradiction to Princess's claims, where especially the policeman DSP Richards, he starts to question Princess's belief of the series of events. Here, for example, where is it? Wow. Here, Madam, control yourself. I know that you are hurt, let us look at all the facts without the emotions. Here, yeah. So here, DSP Richards is challenging Princess's beliefs because them sound kind of fictitious. To him, I am just a bystander. I have no comments in regards to whether or not her claims are true. And of course, they are using emotionally charged language. So that's instances of verbal communication. Verbal meaning they're using their words. So instances of verbal communication where that could ensue some amount of tension. Emotionally charged language includes murder. I hope I don't get flagged for this. um Also, you think Billy a dog, in the Caribbean context, calling someone a dog, it ain't gonna sit right with anybody. Not anybody at all. But yeah, non-verbal communicative behaviors now would constitute using anything else but your words. So that's where our nice terms like kinesics, vocalics, proxemics, I think I forgot one. I said kinesics, vocalics, or paralanguage. Yes. Wow. You know what? I'll just put a list somewhere on the screen. But yeah, in instances of different nonverbal communicative behaviors which I found within the extract would include one, based on my notes, paralanguage and vocalics, where the exclamation marks used within the extract implies tone, right? It implies that they're shouting. And also, we were given instances or insight into Princess's speech rate, where they also gave us insight into Princess's speech rate, where they said that she spoke rapidly and breathlessly, right? This here suggests that, of course, it's an emotionally charged situation, because she's both speaking really fast and out of breath. So I don't know if you can imagine that, but usually when someone is angry, that tends to be how they speak. So yeah. Also saw instances of proxemics. So this was, I think this was genius, to be honest. So um the mere fact that the protesters are gathered to block the road, and they're using this way, or using the space to communicate their anger. They're here to block the road. They're in a group, more like a mobbish type group. So that's communicating their anger. So that's how I used proxemics as a point, right? Or I'd use proxemics as a point. As for kinesics, the passage described Princess as a sneering here. She said that she sneered at the police officer contemptuously, with contempt. So yeah, that's also this would fall under gestures or facial expressions. So that's communicating that she's not so happy with the police officer. So that's an instance of kinesics. Now, for the features of Caribbean Creole English, so that could be grammatical or phonological or just vocabulary. Points that are found throughout would be mostly related to grammar and phonology. So for grammar, I saw instances of pre-verbal markers where, for example, when Princess says it's a go stay block, it's a go stay block. So of course, this is when, right here, it's a go stay a block till we get justice, right? Here, Princess uses ago as a pre-verbal marker, right? And this is communicating that the road is going to stay blocked until they get justice. Is going to would be what that would be like the standard English alternative if that wasn't there. All right. Now, for features of phonology, there was a lot of th stopping, and that's where, no, if we want to make it complicated, we usually say that's where the dental fricative th sound, right, simply becomes a dental a d sound. So words, simply put, words that have th in Creole grammar usually becomes the d sound. So if we have, for example, the word fourth, if I could spell it, it would just be FOURT, fort. Is that how you spell fourth? Fort. Or words like father, for example, this is a better, would become father, der. Same for mother. Mother, that would become mother. Mother. MODER. Killers. Crazy work. Anyways, in the extract, this is seen with words like them instead of them. Themself, like right here, instead of themself, right? So a lot of those you'll see. So yeah, so I think that's what we're going to speak about for the most part. I don't remember. I think for the essay that we're going to do now, the sample essay, we're going to speak about both the formal and informal register because that's required. For the verbal and non-verbal communicative behavior, I don't remember what I used in the essay. Let me look really quickly. Accusations for verbal and nonverbal, to communicate nonverbal, I went with princess's sneering. For the features of Creole, I went for phonology. So that's what I'll speak about in the essay. So nice. So whenever going through a module 2 essay, this is a structure I like to follow. So for the introduction, I briefly introduce the extract, so what it is, what it is about, like a brief summary in like 1 to 2 sentences. I also include for the most part, so 1, 2, oh, this isn't great. Can I not enter? That's okay. So I briefly introduce the extract. I give a brief summary in a sentence or 2. I don't like to go over. And then the third would be what I'll be speaking about. So thirdly, what I intend to speak about, right? As for the body paragraph number 1, I believe that we're going to go for the language register. So we're going to talk about formal and informal register. For body paragraph 2, I will speak about accusations as the verbal communicative behavior, and I will speak about basically princess sneering as the non-verbal communicative behavior, and I'll be talking about th stopping as our grammatic or phonological feature or feature of Creole. It didn't specify whether we needed to speak about grammatical or phonological features, so you can choose whichever one you're more comfortable with. So I'll go with phonology and th stopping, mainly because that's different than what I usually do, and conclusion is easily to wrap it all up. So I am going to make my way over to a word processor so that I can actually write this essay. Okay, so for the introduction, I'll start out by saying the extract is taken from stories my father told me and other tales. It covers the interaction between a protester, princess, and police officer DSP Richards. No, this is what I can't stand with this, but between I'll go protesters, princess, capital P because that's her name, and a police officer, comma, DSP Richards, right? Not the princess. Stories my father told me should be in caps because that's that's the name of the thing, the book, I believe. Yeah, so that's essentially how we're going to start. And to continue this, princess claims to be an indirect victim of police brutality as she recently lost a friend, Billy, at the hands of the police, which she believes was unjust. Alright, now I'm gonna believe I chat bad. I just this thing. So princess claims to be an indirect victim of police brutality as she recently lost her friend, comma, Billy, at the hands of Billy, comma, at the hands of the police, comma, which she believes was unjust. Now this was a really long sentence, but I'll leave it. Tension rises between the two when DSP Richards challenges the logic of her claims. So as I said, what we're doing here is basically introducing the extract. So this would be my first sentence here, would be the introduction of where the extract was taken, and I would use that as my hook, right? Then this is the description of what the extract, or the main theme or idea of the extract is. Then the next sentence that I'm going to go into creating, or the next few words that I'll be saying will be what is usually considered a thesis statement that tells what your essay is about. So I'll go, this essay explores, I generally write it like this, you don't have to. So the language registers used by the characters, and we're separating phrases, so it's a semicolon, not a colon. Number 2, the verbal and non-verbal communicative behaviors they employ, semicolon, or comma, which reveal social tension, because that's what the question asked us to do. And lastly, number 3, a feature of Caribbean Creole seen in the dialogue between Princess and DSP Richards. So that would be what I consider my thesis statement. It's all of this but for this whole thing, this would be considered my introduction. So if I had to divide everything into parts, the first paragraph, as you can see, is divided into 3 solid parts: my hook, my leading statement, which would be the green part shown there, that kind of just tells you what the extract is about, and finally my thesis statement, which tells you what my essay will be about. Then we're free to move on to the next paragraph, and the first body paragraph, as I said, is where I'll focus on speaking about the language registers, and I need to make that clear, and I'll do that by signposting. And signposting literally just tells us what we'll be speaking about, right? So I am going to go ahead and firstly, the extract features the use of formal and informal registers by DSP Richards and Princess respectively. So this here is my topic sentence. It tells you exactly what I'll be speaking about, and makes it clear that I'll be speaking about both the formal, right? So the formal and informal registers. And I've even gone ahead to say who uses which. So I said that DSP Richards uses the formal, right? And Princess would be the one who uses the informal. Once I've established that, I can go ahead now to continue and develop my point. I usually develop my paragraphs using the P method, that's point, evidence, and explain. Essentially, this would be my point, that the formal and informal register is used. I'll now provide evidence from the extract how exactly they are used, and then I'll provide a brief statement explaining how the evidence relates or links to my point. So to do this, I say DSP Richards uses the formal register to maintain authority and respect. This is evident in his speech, as he predominantly speaks in complete sentences and uses standard English. He also avoids contractions, which contrast the register used by Princess. Now I'll take a brief pause right here and kind of clean this up. But DSP Richards uses a formal register to maintain authority and respect. This is evident in his speech, as he predominantly speaks incomplete sentences and uses standard English. He also avoids contractions, which contrast the register used by Princess. And I like how I did this, me tooting my own horns, sorry. But here I'm leading you into my next argument, that Princess uses the informal register, right? So I'll continue from there to say, in contrast to DSP Richards, Princess and the protesters use the informal register. This is seen in her frequent use of contractions as well as idioms such as throwing him into the van like meat. Moreover, in direct quotes from the extract, there are instances of exclamations such as murder. The use of exclamations is more common in informal speech. So again, just to clean it up, in contrast, we need a comma here. Oh, lies. In contrast to DSP Richards is Princess, yeah, and the protesters, for once they got that right, use the informal register. Lovely. This is seen in her frequent use of contractions as well as idioms such as comma. I am taking this directly from the passage, so I'll have to put this in quotes. So throwing him into the van like meat. And I believe that was that. Moreover, comma, in direct quotes and not quotes from the extract, there, as in THERE, are instances of exclamation such as comma, again directly from the passage, so I'll just put that in quotes and capitalize that, exclamation mark, close. And the use of exclamation, I'll change this from exclamation to interjections. That look like it's spelled wrong. Yes, Jections is more common in informal speech. And that would be it for my first body paragraph. So far we've completed the introduction, and here we have the first body paragraph. Now for the second body paragraph, as I had said, I'll go on to speak about the verbal and non-verbal communicative behaviors, as well as there was a third body paragraph as well. And in the third body paragraph, I would speak about the grammatical feature, which we're going to use as TH stopping. So let's go on to speak about the communicative behaviors. So you need a transitional word. So furthermore, I'll use that. Some people use in addition to, or in addition to the aforementioned point, blah, blah, blah. It really doesn't matter. But what I'm going to do here again is my topic sentence, introducing my point and what I'll be speaking about in this paragraph. So furthermore, the article highlights various aspects of verbal and non-verbal behavior that communicate social tension between the characters. The verbal interactions include accusations by the protester, which are then countered by the police. Non-verbal behaviors that indicate tension are also present, such as Princess's reaction to DSP Richards' counter. And I completely made a mess of that because I cannot speak. But the verbal interactions include accusations by the protesters, comma, which are then countered by the police, full stop. Then non-verbal behaviors, and we use British English over here, so you that indicate tension, which are also present, includes princess's reaction. So princess's reaction to DSP Richards' counter. Wow. Richards' counter. So that's what I would do to fix that. And I'll go on now. These are my points. I'll go on to provide evidence. So in terms of verbal behavior, Princess repeatedly accuses the police of wrongdoing, as evident in the statement, "I shoot the police, shoot it up themselves." I knew it, ain't no way they're getting that. Wow. I knew it, there was no way. So in terms of verbal, verbal behaviors, Princess repeatedly accuses the police of wrongdoing, comma, as is evident in the statement. Not I, but quotation marks, please. I shoot. No, it wasn't a. I shoot the police, shoot it up, not themselves, but themselves. All right, and that should give us there was also this part, damn lie. Now DSP Richards, counters the accusation. So counters the accusation, increasing, and this is where we see where the increase in tension started, the social tension, because imagine she's speaking her truth, the policeman is telling her that she is lying, and the police, then she goes ahead to tell the policeman, say him lie, and not only just lie, him damn lie. So that's the surefire way to start a war, because like, girl, what you doing? Come on, be for real. So this tension is further supported by instances of kinesics, right? Such as when Princess sneers at the officer, suggesting disdain, DISDAIN, and aggression towards him. Should I put the towards him? Let's go ahead. No, I could say just aggression. Not when princess. Relax, Google. Relax. I know what I'm doing to an extent. To an extent. Now we're going to talk about, so this was our second body paragraph, third paragraph in total. Now we're going to go on to speak about the grammatical feature, and remember I said that that's going to be I am going to talk about a phonological feature, but earlier I told you that there was also a grammatical feature that was a pre-verbal marker, but as I said, I thought phonological feature was more fun to talk about, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go to additionally, again, transitional word to kind of link my paragraphs, and we're going to use the same structure or the same build, we need a point. So this is where I'm going to signpost and tell you what I'll be talking about next. So the use of th stopping as a feature of Caribbean Creole English. His phonology is evident in the extract, right? And I'll go ahead and explain what this is just briefly. So the dental fricative th sound basically is realized, or it's shown as or heard as the dental d sound in several instances. This is seen in words such as de, dem, demself, instead of, and it's good, I think this is purely subjective, I think it's good when you can show the standard English alternative. So I usually do this. So instead of the standard English alternatives, don't forget your quotes, the, them, and themself, right? This is noticeable in the conversation between DSP Richards and Princess. It highlights a prominent feature of Creole expression. I mean, how can you not like Creole? And that would be my paragraph there explaining that. And I'll go ahead and now just wrap up with a conclusion. And to do that, I say, in conclusion, the extract shows social tension through the use of formal and informal registers between a group of protesters and the police. The protesters claim that their friend was a victim of police brutality, a claim that the police vehemently deny. This tension is evident through verbal accusations from the protesters and direct denials from DSP Richards. These denials are met with nonverbal behaviors such as Princess's sneering. Finally, the instance of th stopping is evident throughout the dialogue, demonstrating a common feature of Caribbean Creole English. That did sound like a bit news reporter voice-ish, don't? The protesters claim that their friend was a victim of police brutality, full stop, or comma, police brutality, comma, a claim, not a claim, a claim that the police vehemently denies. Wow, at least I get that. This tension is evident through verbal accusations from the protesters and direct denials from DSP, not Recharge, but Richards. Does it sound like I said Recharge? Richards. These denials are met with nonverbal behaviors. We use British English over here, such as a princess's snaring, not snaring, snaring. Finally, the instance common eye of th stopping is evident throughout the dialogue, demonstrating a common feature of Caribbean, I'll put Creole in caps, Creole English. And that is our essay. So in my conclusion, I said all my points, just shorter. And that's how you construct a module 2 essay. And I hope these points were good enough for you. If you need notes from the video, that's linked in the description box below. And also, if this helped, don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course watch another one.